Hello again. Now, the Invest in African Mining Indaba is currently underway in Cape Town from today. Mining affected communities, though, are now rejecting the alternative Mining Indaba that's set to begin tomorrow. It always happens on the sidelines of the main summit. Now, they say this alternative Indaba lacks community participation and betrays the struggles of mining affected communities. Well, to tell us all about their misgivings about this is Meshack Mbangula from the Mining Affected Communities United in Action. Meshack, good afternoon. Welcome to today and thank you very much for your time. So what are the key reasons you are rejecting the alternative Mining Indaba, which we always know happens, so to speak, on the sidelines of the Invest in African Mining Indaba?
Yeah, firstly, Mining Affected Communities United in Action, it's a very massive radical movement in South Africa in all the mining areas. Communities are highly affected by these mines and definitely carrying the brunt of, forceful removal, cracking houses, contaminated water, pollution. These things are happening to these communities. And funny enough, this community is not invited to the alternative mining or being in the part of the decision-making, steering committee. And we find it very strange. So
are you saying, sorry, before the second one, are you saying you should have been invited and you should have been consulted?
We should have been the one who are planning the whole program of the alternative mining lab as the one who are affected, not somebody who an NGO who doesn't know really, who doesn't live in the place where we feel this thing happening of mining, but just make decisions. And that's a problem. That's the number one problem that we are facing, because we felt that we should be part of this, informing the program, not somebody, just an NGO deciding on us, because that's what we are fighting about, this mining industry, whereby we are structurally sidelined, and
okay.
We are not part of the mine. Yeah, yes.
Okay, so what's the second thing that you are rejecting the alternative Mining Indaba?
Well, so obviously the program doesn't talk to the issues of communities. And now you go there, you only watch the NGOs, even the Mining Indaba capitalists, and they come now into the alternative Mining Indaba to present how they treat communities, how they benefit communities. Pure lies, just lies. And then to say we are doing this good for communities and skill development, and all these things, it doesn't happen. So we feel that is, how can you give a space of these capitalists from Mining Indaba to come and lie here, but not give a space to the communities that are affected to share ideas, to come up with ideas, to say how do we make sure that we fight the big animal, that the capitalists, and be able to plan, our contingency plan, so that we can have strategic plans that will sustain us and have our own determined development that will definitely suit us, because mining is not really a sector that is good for communities. It's just a disaster.
So what actions now do you want to see happening with the alternative Mining Indaba?
I think it must just disband, because we need to have an alternative mining that talk alternatively to the bad issues that is the Mining Indaba is doing.
But that might be too late. That might be too late, Meshack, because the alternative Mining Indaba, from what I understand, starts tomorrow in Cape Town.
Fine, but the message is very important to them to know that they are meeting there, not representing communities. Communities will do their own alternative of the alternative, because that is not our space. That's why we didn't go, whether they can continue or whatever, but the fact is that it's not our space anymore. It's space for the Mining Indaba capitalists. It's space for the big NGOs, not for the communities.
So when it started, the alternative Mining Indaba, you were included as communities. So going forward, would you support the alternative Mining Indaba if they began to engage directly with the communities and consulted you properly instead of cancelling it?
Absolutely, absolutely. We will definitely engage, and we must be the one who coming up with a program. We inform the program. We make sure that their plans of the future plans for the communities comes from the communities, not for them. We've write letters to them to say, let's communicate, let's talk about this issue of alternative mining in Indaba, the way now is structured. And unfortunately, not even one letter was, they responded, nothing.
What are you going to do tomorrow?
Well, we were planning our own, because if you look at this alternative mining Indaba and mining Indaba, it's Cape Town. Cape Town is not a mining area. So obviously we will come to areas where our communities are affected in Mpumalanga and so on, and obviously capacitate our communities and see how can we assist, have our own programs continuing, because we are not just having meetings, but we are having programs that will help communities to able to change the whole situation against this mining Indaba.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. That's Meshack Mbangula from the Mining Affected Communities United in Action, Macua. They are rejecting the alternative Mining Indaba. You will recall that the Invest in African Mining Indaba, the main summit of the main Indaba, started today. And on the sidelines, historically, for some years now, there's the alternative Mining Indaba, which originally was started by communities in mining areas affected by mining, just to shine a spotlight on several of the challenges that mining communities are facing. But now this organization is saying they no longer support the alternative Mining Indaba. They reject it. They've always rejected the main Mining Indaba because they say it just represents the interests of capitalists.